World Health Organization, about 450 million people worldwide are affected by mental health issues. Why this large number? That is what we're going to be looking at today on the show, Ladies Night. My name is Ameze Bazwaye. Welcome on board. And I want to tell you, oh, this is Ladies Night. Alright, it's still Ladies Night right here on Independent Television with yours truly, Ameze Bazwaye. Yes, I know you're wondering why are we on the streets today and not in the studio. I decided to take it out to the streets. Let's take this matter really seriously. Mental health issues are issues that are actually really becoming a big deal these days. And so today on the show I'm going to be talking with a lot of persons, especially medical practitioners and of course some other persons out on the streets to get their opinion on what are the things that cause mental health illness. I will be talking with a doctor on the show, I'll be talking with a pastor, I'll be talking with a pharmacist and so many other persons just to get their opinion and of course their advice on how we should ensure that we preserve our mental health. Okay, it's something that really happens to a lot of persons and a lot of persons are shy towards that regard. A lot of persons tend to go through these things and they're silent about it because they feel most people will actually stigmatize them. But hey, on the show today I'll be telling you the fact and of course bringing to you how you can avoid such mental health issues. Once again, this is Ladies Night. I'll be heading onto the streets where I'll be talking to some persons about this topic. Stay with us. And I want to tell you, oh, this is Ladies Night.
Family conflicts, abuses of drugs, how to stop them, how to avoid it. Family conflicts, it really affects the children, even the couples, when the family is not settled. And ways to avoid it: carrying friends along, bringing friends, sitting with them, talk to them, and also see a therapy. I think it will help. And for drugs, I think youth of nowadays should look for a way to stop. I know it's not easy, but with time they will stop it. I think it will also help for the mental issues.
Academic stress can also cause it, in the sense that they have a high expectation and instant competition with other people. It can actually cause it. And social media pressure, where people compare themselves with other people on social media just to make themselves equal to them. Yeah. And the main thing that what they can actually avoid in all these things, they can actually go around with people that look at the positive change around them and also bring down the depression in them. And also they should watch more, learn more on mental issue too, so that they will gain positive knowledge and understanding.
The major causes of mental health issue in Nigeria are sexual assault. In respect to our ladies, also it can also affect the male when they are being molested by their nannies, especially it happens to rich people, most especially who has nannies, and relative also can assault their own siblings. And secondly, drug abuse. When you are intoxicated with drugs, excessive use of drugs can cause it. Solution to that is being able to socialize with others can also help to prevent it, because you have some advice from them concerning drugs and what can cause drugs also, the damages drug can cause in your life also.
Okay, one of the causes of mental health issues on youth is social media. We see that a lot of youth uses social media and they see a lot of lifestyle on social media, which can result to envy and comparison. Like, oh, why am I not like this? Why am I not like this? And how to avoid it is by not believing everything you see on social media. Like, social media is for connection, comparison.
The causes of we the youth are drugs, peer pressure, and family. So what we can help them abstain from is when we talk to them and give them listening ears.
One major cause of mental issues on youth of these days are too much workload. These days, youth engage themselves in serious labor activities, which tend them from notifying how their system works and how their mental states are in. One way is which youth can avoid such is that you start rationing the time you involve yourself in work activities. Secondly, you need to bring people around to support you and make sure that all works are done together because you alone can't do it. Because too much workload causes mental issue. Another cause of mental issue is isolation. Youth of these days, they stay together. They don't find people around them. They stay alone, loneliness and boredom, which causes mental issue. One way to avoid that is, first of all, you stay away from online activities. You come outside, do some sort of exercise which can build your system and mentally.
Two things that can cause mental health issues are parental expectations and academic stress. How to avoid parental expectations? I think you should open up to your parents, tell them that you cannot do or you cannot meet their expectations, and you should just totally open up to them. Academic stress. I think many students don't have a lot of sleep because of academic stress. So we should try to get more sleep and we should learn how to manage our time. I think if you learn how to manage your time, you will not be stressed academically.
What is mental health? Mental health is a state of overall well-being of an individual. There are things that can negatively impact our mental health. Number one is stress, emotional abuse, face under a lot of pressure, experiencing discrimination or hate, smoking, and lastly, excess consumption of alcohol. How can we manage our mental health? Stay positive, avoid fear, practice gratitude. Whatever you have in life that is good, appreciate it. Connect with good people. I mean good people. Avoid aggressive group of people. Avoid smoking and drink responsibly and eat responsibly. Remember, health is wealth. Thank you.
In response to the question, what are those things that people do that may be damaging to their mental health? I would say unhealthy competition and living a fake life, like a fake lifestyle. You might be wondering, is there a healthy competition and an unhealthy competition? Yes, there's a healthy competition and there's also an unhealthy competition. When you say competition is healthy, it's when you you see people who are doing well, maybe in their career, in their marriage, in their home, in their business, and you aspire to be like them. You just don't sit back and watch their every move and envy them and wishing you were the one. But you take a step further by, first of all, getting to know them and complimenting their effort, their success, their victory, and then you let them know that I really admire you and I want to be like you. I want to be an achiever just like you. And those people, if they are not, should I say, selfish, self-centered, they'll be glad like to receive you and try to guide you on the steps to take to achieve your dreams. And in that case, we call that a healthy competition. But when we say an unhealthy competition, it means you see people who you admire their lifestyle, you admire their achievements, you admire their marriage, their job, and what have you. And instead of going to meet them, like, how did you do it? What are the steps you took? Who are your mentors? Instead of doing those things, you sit back, you are angry, like, God, why them? Why should you be them? Why not me? And you really want to be like them, but you don't want to know the processes, You don't want to know the steps they took. You don't want to know the books they read. You don't want to know their mentor. You are just angry. You are envious. You are jealous. Those kind of things are what we call unhealthy competition. And the competition comes in when you don't even have an idea how they achieve those things that they are achieving, but you just want to achieve them and you go the wrong way. Let's take, for example, someone you know so well, maybe you were friends years back, or you were classmates, or you were flatmates, or you were compound mates, or wherever you. And maybe all of a sudden, you just hear that they've built a house, and you don't even know how far they've come. You don't know how far they've been struggling, and all of a sudden, you just want to build a house. You don't know if they've been saving for years. You don't know if they took up a loan just to be able to acquire that house. But all you just want is you want to build a house too. And you start pressuring yourself, you pressure your family, you pressure your spouse just because you want to have what that other person has. You don't even know what that person went through to be able to acquire that thing. And that also let me just say, an unhealthy competition and fake lifestyle, they are almost the same thing. When you are trying to copy someone without going through the processes that the person went through, that can lead to a mental breakdown when well, how do I put it now? When you don't follow the steps that those people followed, and you are trying to impress some certain persons, and when you are not able to meet up, maybe due to shame and all that, like how do I explain myself to these people that are looking up to me, it will affect you mentally, and it will lead to mental breakdown. And the funny thing about this thing is that no one is pressuring you. You are the one pressuring yourself. You are the one mounting unnecessary pressure on yourself. And to me, I think the solution to this is contentment. Be contented with what you have. And what you cannot afford, don't crave for it. Don't crave to be like others without knowing what they went through, what they've been through, or the steps they took. Be contented with what you have. As our faces are different, so are our achievements, so are our dreams, so are the things that we achieve in this life. So don't be in a haste to be like someone else without knowing the process, or without going through the process that the person went through. Don't be in haste to be like others. And I think social media has also contributed to this mental breakdown that we're actually talking about, because you just see things on social media, and you think that's how it is in real life. Most of these things, they are meant to make you feel like you are not doing well. They are meant to make you feel like you are not doing your best, you are not trying. But you forget to understand that most of these things, they are scripted, they are acted, and you just take it upon yourself. You just take it upon yourself like you are not doing well, you want to be like this, you want to be like that. So please, for the sake of your mental health, be contented with what you have. Make do with what you have. Make do with the resources that are available to you. Fine, it's good to admire people, it's good to want to be like people, but make sure you try to get to know them and what they've been through and the steps they took. Don't just go about like wanting to compete with them. You will break down because you will not be able to keep up with their speed, with their lifestyle. And I hope this is helpful. My final note is be contented.
我们今生有缘在路上，只要我们彼此永不忘。 朋友啊，让我们一起牢牢铭记呀，别在乎那一些又何伤。朋友啊，让我们一起牢牢铭记呀，别在乎那一些又何伤。我们今生注定是沧桑，苦着来，要笑着走过呀。朋友啊，让我们一起牢牢铭记呀，我们今生兄弟情一场。朋友啊，让我们一起牢牢铭记呀，我们今生兄弟情一场。生有缘在路上，只要我们彼此永不忘。朋友啊，让我们一起牢牢铭记呀，别在乎那一些又何伤。朋友啊，让我牢牢铭记呀，别在乎那一些又何伤。我们今生就像梦一场，有你陪，喝醉了又何妨？朋友啊，让我们一起牢牢呀，反正过后终了无牵挂。朋友啊，让我们一起牢牢铭记呀，反正过后终了无牵挂。朋友啊，让我们一起牢牢铭记呀，反正过后终了无牵挂。
Mental health is a state of well-being whereby an individual can cope with the normal stress of life and contribute meaningfully to the society. So it has also been estimated by the WHO that 40 million Nigerians, which is about 20% of our population, have mental health issues in Nigeria. Okay, schizophrenia, bipolar affective disorder, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. The commonest one that we have these days is schizophrenia. And one significant thing about schizophrenia is that they hear voices and they see things other people don't see in clear consciousness. We also have another common one that we see in our practice is mental behavioral disorder due to drug abuse. There are signs to know that your mental health is on the decline. The commonest one include poor sleep. You find yourself waking up intermittently at night. You have low mood, low energy, loss of previously enjoyable activity, suicidal thoughts, hearing of voices, seeing things other people don't see in clear consciousness, poorly sensation in the body. These are signs that your mental health is on the decline, and it's important that you see your medical personnel for proper treatment. You see, the commonest one is smoking in our society. You see that people who, because a lot of people smoke a lot of things these days, like ice, crack, cannabis. You see that those people who smoke and drink are likely to come down with mental health disorder. Very importantly, is the fact that this mental health disorder also follow family history. So it's important that we look out for family history when we are at risk. It puts you at risk actually of having mental health disorder. I on the 10th we have mental health, and I actually liked the topic. It's prioritizing your mental health in your workplace. That was the theme. And it reminded us of the fact that we need to prioritize our mental health, because you see that a lot of Nigerians don't take our mental health seriously, and sometimes when we come down with these symptoms, we find it difficult to accept it. I discovered that a lot of Nigerians prefer we tell them that they have hypertension or diabetes, but when you tell them that they have mental health disorder, we find it difficult to accept it. So it's important that we remind ourselves again that there's no much big deal about mental health. It's just like every other condition, and not all of it is spiritual. One of the major issues we have is stigma, and it has remained a very big issue these days. But the major way we can tackle it is that we need to inform people. We need to, as the society at large, need to accept the fact that mental health can be part of human conditions that we manage. So stigma is something that we need to tell people about, inform the general public about it, to get rid of the stigma. As much as possible, prevent smoking, prevent drinking. If you come down with any of those symptoms that I mentioned earlier, it's important that you see your doctor for proper management. As I said, there are triggers. You just prevent the triggers, which smoking, drinking, having a very good rest. So those are the things that can trigger mental health disorder.
Okay, in prevention of mental illness can be prevented through different ways. First of all, people smoke, and this smoke of it doesn't only affect the respiratory system, so it can also affect the mental well-being of that person. So the person needs to stop smoking, which is very, very important. Then alcohol, stop. If the person notices any sign of depression, maybe the person is no longer enjoying the activities he or she used to enjoy before, then the person needs to speak to somebody. Most especially, we advise them to speak to medical personnel who can easily help them. Then they can easily refer them to psychiatric hospitals or any place where they can quickly get help. And in most cases, some persons, when they are depressed, they stay indoors. They don't want to eat, they don't want to drink, they don't want to talk to anybody. So those kind of situations, we encourage them to speak out so that they can get help on time. Then depression is not something that can go easily. It cannot be it doesn't have cure. It can only be managed. So the management of depression takes a long period of time for it to be controlled. So the more the person takes treatment, the more the person will be able to return back to the society as quickly as possible. Then some other preventive measures of this mental illness. So when mental illness comes, we place the patient on different kind of medication, antipsychotics. So these antipsychotics, they have been taken for a long period of time, not a month, not 2 months, not 6 months, but for a very long period of time. And since this mental illness most times is hereditary from maybe the parents, the family, is a trait in the place where the person comes from. So from there, the person if you know on time that your family is prone to mental illness, so we the health workers, we know how to manage those kind of patients, and also educate the family members on how to notice the signs of mental illness early, and the person can be managed properly.
But based on some of the things that I've done, especially when I'm counseling people, I discovered that there are some that are majorly physical, though there are also spiritual aspect of it. But I want to start from the physical aspect. The first thing has to do with the challenges of life. For instance, there are some of them that whenever they are passing through difficulties, instead of them to want to take it from the part of being able to control the situation, they start taking it to their heart. They start pondering over it. In the process of pondering over it, you now find out that they go into depression. And depression is one of the deadlier things. I'm not even sure, though I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not sure if depression even have any medication or drugs. For instance, there was a woman that the daughter was married. The daughter had a son for the man, only to find out that the woman discovered that the husband impregnated another woman. And she started pondering over it. Oh, you mean that our husband have gone out to impregnate another person? We were trying to encourage her to say, you give yourself peace. He said no. He keep pondering over it until she went into depression. Then the mother started carrying her everywhere. We were also advising the mother, that is not the best. What you should do, concentrate in the aspect of trying to get her out. But this that you are going from prayer house to another prayer house to from one prayer house, before you know, even the mom also enter depression. And it becomes like a kind of a big issue that you can imagine. A daughter is depressed, the mother is depressed, and before you know it, the woman could not be able to manage it, and the mother died of that. The girl is still alive, but they are still managing her. The marriage, she totally lost. So what I want to say is that there are other things, especially at this time, when you find out that the economic situation of this country is so hard. So, for instance, a family who have children, and they discover that in the morning, no food, afternoon, no food, evening, no food, and in the process of trying to go into other things in order to provide for the family, if they are not able to meet up, then instead of overthinking it to now bring them issues that have to do with their mental illness, so they have to avoid it. So there are also spiritual aspects which have to do with the affliction of the enemy. But I know that everything has solution. What is the solution? Is that we have to hope on God to find out that whatever it is that we're passing through, that God is able to keep us alive, to provide for us, and to help us. Even if anybody is sick, in terms of spiritual aspect, the power is there to cast out that demon.
Yes, mental health is the care of our nervous system. It has to do with how we are able to take care of our emotion, psychology, and social well-being. We have actually defined it according to World Organization as the state of physical, social, and mental well-being, and not actually the absence of disease or infirmity. Our focus on health is not only the physical, but we also put emphasis on the mental and social well-being. You just asked what the mental health is all about. Just like the way people get sick physically, so also people can also come down with other neurotic or psychotic problem. Neurotic problem has to do with maybe people coming down with a mood disorder, whether bipolar affective disorder, with which they come down with elated mood, increased energy, aggressiveness as the case may be. They can also come down with depression or a depressed mood, whereby some persons now become sad for no reason. They can, lose sleep as the case may be. Mental illness can come in different form, whereby some persons can have what we call the mood disorder. In mood disorder, we have persons coming down with bipolar affective disorder, which include people having elevated moods. They can become talkative, they can have increased energy, and also some persons can also become moody what we call depressive state, in which the person experience sadness for no reason. They can, have this kind of low self-esteem, as the case may be. Then other form of mental illness that is very common in our environment is anxiety disorder. Some persons become fearful for no reason. Some persons have what they call the obsessive compulsive disorder, whereby they can repeat a task, that will cause fear, repetitiveness, in them. Not only that, we can also have some persons who have what we call the personality disorder, either the schizoaffective disorder, either the artistic disorder. They just have this disorder, they are just, they are not normal, and they can actually have a problem with interacting with people, in the society. Then we can also have some persons that come down with what we call the psychotic disorder. These are the people that we sometimes see on the street that are vagrant. Some of them are epiphanic, they carry refuse with them. They are dirty, they don't have a home. You see them on the street, as the case may be. These are the persons actually we ascribe to say they have mental illness because of the fact that they have lost, they have what we call a split mind. They have left their home, they are now on the streets, taking rubbish and the like. But however, those persons are psychotic. But the neurotic ones, those persons also have mental illness, like the way I spoke about people that have bipolar affective disorder, people that have depression, people that have anxiety disorder. By and large, mental illness are treatable health condition, but there is a stigma that is attached to it. People don't really want to accept the fact that they have a mental illness for the reason that it's a problem of the mind, it's a problem of the nervous system, as I said earlier on. It is not actually a physical illness, but however, a disorder of the mind can also affect one physical well-being. For example, somebody that has a depressed state of mind, maybe somebody that is depressed, if this person has this low spirit, always sad, always moody, other physical health condition might come up, and such person might commit a suicide. So possibly what affects the mind can also affect the body. Vice versa, what affects the body can also affect the mind, as the case may be. There are ways one can always stay healthy to avoid mental illness in our environment. In our environment where things are very challenging, there are difficulty, government is not helping, the family may not be helpful, the society, there's hardship and the like. Such society is bound to cause people to have mental illness, whether they like it or not. People have mental illness. It's just for them to be diagnosed of having mental illness. Most often than not, people believe that mental illness is not a thing they have to come to the hospital for treatment, but it's quite a treatable health condition, as I said earlier on. There are ways one can stay healthy to prevent mental illness. One of the ways includes exercise. When you exercise, of course, it allows blood to flow through your body, to flow through your brain, and this can also help to prevent you from falling into mental illness. Then you have to stay focused, be positive, and by so doing, you can be able to prevent mental illness. Then you have to set goals and priority. You will have to be focused that things will always get better. If you have this kind of optimistic mindset, of course you are preventing mental illness. Not only that, you have to eat well, good nutrition, good food, multivitamins help to revitalize the nervous system as a way of developing mental illness. Good food, multivitamin, of course, is a good antioxidant. It's an anti-stress substance. Those substances, those multivitamins help to combat stress, they combat any form of radicals that is capable of affecting our nervous system that will teach one to developing mental illness. Not only that, you have to sleep well, learn to sleep well. All the mental illness, whether psychotic, whether neurotic, they have one problem in common, that is sleep. When you sleep well, there's no way you can develop a mental illness. But people that suffers mental illness, they usually have what we call sleep starvation. They hardly sleep at night, and when you don't sleep at night, you are most likely going to develop a mental illness. So the best way of preventing mental illness is to ensure that all those things are put into consideration, and also you learn to socialize. Socialization helps to prevent one from developing mental illness. So when you are fond of always withdrawn, you always, stay in your cocoon. It's a way of, trying to do this on your own. There's a tendency for people of such to developing mental illness. But when you are socialized, your ability to, get involved in other activities, other family activities, social activity in general, you are preventing mental illness. Mental illness is a treatable health condition, and when you find that you are having any of those symptoms, when you find people close to you having any of those symptoms, there's a need for you to see a doctor, see a psychologist that will help to counsel you, and there are drugs available that can also help to put you in a good state of mind so that you can begin to think well. Because people who suffer mental illness, they have problem with emotions, they have problem with their psychology, and they have problem with their social well-being. Always stay healthy so that you will not develop a mental illness.
Some of the things that people do that negatively impact on their mental health. I'm going to begin with procrastination. Procrastination is simply putting things off. Things that should be done, you put them off. So for instance, you're supposed to run an errand. You're like, I'm too tired. I'll do it this evening. And then the evening comes, and then you probably get into something else. And you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, and on it goes. It affects your mental health because it affects your ability to stay organized. It piles things up and reduces your productivity, makes you ineffective. A lot of things have deadlines, and so when you put them off unnecessarily, it's like sweeping things under the carpet. You don't get rid of them, you just hide them temporarily until they become so bad that there are penalties, there are repercussions, and or you just find that you have to deal with so much within a very limited time frame, which is not the best. So a person that has a habit of procrastinating will ultimately experience burnout. If it's in a workplace setting, will ultimately lead an unorganized lifestyle. They won't be their best part time. They will always find themselves in difficult positions, and difficult positions particularly that could have been prevented. They end up creating some of these problems for themselves down the line. Another habit that people have that does not help with mental health is bottling things up. Now, there's a drive for privacy now, particularly with the advent of social media. So it's very easy to go online and make your business everybody's business, right? I understand privacy, and I think that it's good to maintain some semblance of privacy, but we are not made to be islands. We're not made to handle even if we can. I don't really think that we can, but even if we can, or even at times where we can, or when we can, it may not always be best to try and go at life alone, to try and do everything by yourself. It's actually a show of strength to know when to ask for help, and sometimes even beyond requiring help from others, requiring support from others, there is a benefit to simply sharing your problems. There's a popular saying that a problem shared is a problem half solved. It's not nothing, there's merit in it when you go through challenges. It's why we have support systems, or at the very least why we should strive to cultivate support systems. When we go through challenges, you have friends, you have family. There should be somebody that you can talk to about your problems. And even beyond, just a physical connection, is why we pray. If you are spiritual or religious, is why we pray. It's one of the ways that we can unburden because there's only so much that you can take on in your psyche, before it begins to feel like overwhelming, it begins to feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. And sometimes you do a very good job of, looking like you have it all together, but it doesn't last very long. And yeah, knowing how to rely on your support system, could be your husband, could be your wife, could be your family, your parents, could be your friends, doesn't really matter who, it could be God, as the case may be. But the point is, it's always a good idea to share. It's not just problems anyway. You can share problems, but it's also just to be able to share your life. It's good to have confidence in a work setting. It could be a mentor, it could be a colleague. All of these things. Having people so that you are building community. It helps you to feel like you are not alone. And take it from me, everybody needs to know that they are not alone, because life is difficult as is, and life is complicated, and we all need each other just to get through every day.
All right, it has been Ladies Night right here on Independent Television with yours truly, Amaeze Bazwai. I hope you learned a thing or two. I, for one, have learned so much. Yes, we have busy lives. Yes, the country may be having issues that may affect us and, of course, give us some challenges that we face on a daily basis. But your mental health is your priority. And so most definitely, you should try to ensure that you preserve it. Do all you can to make sure that you are well mentally. All right? Let's stop the stigmatization of those who have mental health issues. And of course, let's try to preserve our own mental health. This has been Ladies Night. Like I said, we went on the streets today. It has been fun. It has been amazing talking to a lot of persons today. Next week, I'll be here same time, same station, but of course in the studio with my regular guest on the show. My name is Amaeze Bazwai. See you next time.